Napoleon's rise wasn't merit. It was one hidden architectural decision. Imagine if that choice never occurred. The French Revolutionary Wars would have unfolded differently. The balance of power across Europe would have shifted dramatically. The very concept of nationhood might have evolved in unforeseen ways. Historical records paint a picture of Napoleon's inevitable triumph, yet they fail to account for the intricate web of causality. This divergence wasn't just about military strategy. It was about the physical infrastructure that shaped military capability, a foundation laid by an unknown hand. We must examine the theoretical possibility of this alternate timeline. What if the strategic choke points had been different? How would troop movements have changed? The answer lies not in conventional military history, but in the forgotten discipline of military architecture, the silent architects of war. This is where the architect emerges from the shadows of history, not a general, not a politician, but a master of spatial strategy. This figure's existence fundamentally altered the trajectory of Pan Europe. Their decisions shaped the very ground upon which battles were fought. The architect's influence wasn't merely tactical, it was foundational. By controlling the physical landscape, they controlled the flow of armies. They dictated the possibilities and limitations of military campaigns. This power, wielded unseen, became the true engine of Napoleon's rise. Consider the historical records again. They document Napoleon's brilliance, his charisma, his tactical genius, but they rarely mention the underlying infrastructure, the roads, the fortifications, the supply lines meticulously designed by the architect. These were the silent partners in his conquests. The architect's work created a perfect storm of opportunity. Fortresses fell not just because of Napoleon's attacks, but because they were designed to be vulnerable. Supply lines functioned not just because of logistical skill, but because they were engineered for efficiency. This hidden hand shaped every victory. This wasn't a matter of chance. It wasn't mere luck. The architect's influence was deliberate, calculated, and profound. They understood that controlling the physical environment was the ultimate form of power, a power far greater than any single military leader could wield alone. The architect's identity remains shrouded in mystery. Were they a single brilliant mind? A secret society? Or perhaps something else entirely? The records offer no clear answer, but their impact is undeniable. They stand as the hidden architect of a world that might have been. A single altered blueprint in 1796 sent history down a path no one predicted. Without Napoleon's swift Italian campaign, the coal mines of Belgium remained underdeveloped for decades. Industrialization stalled in Western Europe, shifting the center of gravity to the Americas. Colonial powers redirected their gaze. The Caribbean sugar islands became the new strategic prize. By the way, if you like this discussion, don't forget to subscribe. There are many more interesting topics coming up. Lightbulb. Britain's naval supremacy faced no serious challenge, but its army atrophied without a continental war. A generation of French engineers never learned Napoleon's logistical innovations, slowing rail development. Without the Napoleonic Code, legal systems in Europe fragmented into conflicting local customs. The vacuum of centralized authority allowed secret societies to flourish, reshaping underground politics. Cultural memory shifted. Romanticism in art turned inward, obsessed with loss and melancholy. Technological breakthroughs came later but with greater intensity, as if history compressed. By 1850, a global telegraph network connected continents, but its code was controlled by one shadowy order. Generations born in the void of Napoleon's shadow carried a collective anxiety, a sense of unfinished destiny. This psychological scar echoed into the 20th century. A hidden trauma no history book recorded. The world that emerged from Napoleon's shadow was not divided by nations, but unified under a single, invisible authority. This new global structure transformed continents into interconnected districts, all serving one central purpose. Cities across the world were redesigned with identical architectural principles. Towering structures pierced the sky, each connected by shimmering energy pathways that pulsed with synchronized light. The nature of power had fundamentally shifted. Military conquest became obsolete as true authority now resided in controlling the narratives that shaped human consciousness. The architect's influence had not diminished with time but had evolved into an enduring system that permeated every aspect of society. Their vision became the invisible architecture of modern civilization. Behind the scenes, a council of advisors operated from hidden locations across the globe. They made decisions that affected billions. Their faces never seen but their influence undeniable. The true nature of power revealed itself not through armies or wealth, but through the ability to shape reality itself. Those who controlled the narrative controlled existence. Citizens lived in a state of perpetual cognitive dissonance. They enjoyed material abundance but surrendered their independent thought, unaware of the invisible walls constructed around their consciousness. Art and expression became tools of the system rather than rebellion. Creativity was channeled into approved forms that reinforced the established order while appearing to challenge it. Technological advancement accelerated under this unified system, but only in directions that served the central authority. Innovation was carefully curated to maintain control while appearing progressive. As we reach the final chapter of our exploration into Napoleon's alternate reality, we confront the profound question: were we merely spectators to a predetermined destiny, or did infinite possibilities exist at every turn of history? The architect's intervention forces us to reconsider the very nature of free will. Did Napoleon truly choose his path, or was he merely playing a role in a grand design beyond human comprehension? When we recognize the hidden structures that shaped history, our own perceived limitations begin to dissolve. The invisible forces that govern Napoleon's world may very well be the same ones that constrain our own potential. Humanity possesses an innate drive to impose order on chaos. We search for patterns in randomness, meaning in coincidence, and design in disorder. This psychological compulsion reveals more about our minds than about history itself. The ultimate power revealed in our alternate timeline is not military conquest, but the ability to control the foundational narrative. Those who shape the story control how history is remembered and how future generations understand their place in the world. Knowing that multiple timelines exist creates a profound psychological burden. We grapple with the weight of choices not made, paths not taken, and lives unlived. The shadow of what could have been haunts our understanding of what actually is. Historical figures like Napoleon transform when viewed through the lens of possibility. Was he a genius who defied destiny, or a pawn in a game far larger than himself? The answer may lie in the space between these extremes. Hi everyone! Quick reminder: subscribe for high-quality daily content. Sparkle's last chance. Subscribe now before we launch our new series, Unlocked.